Hi, this is Karen from Wise Transition, and I'm here today with Marcelle Allen. And I know Marcelle because she helps me with social media marketing, but she has so many other things that she does. This lady is crazy busy and crazy creative. But first off, I'd like to welcome you.
Thank you. Hi, Karen.
Hi.
Happy to be here today.
I'm really happy to have you here because I want to talk about some things that you have gone through and how they have helped you as you're growing your life to be one that is filled with purpose and meaning and value. Mm-hmm. So I know that you have gone through some pretty significant transition times.
Yes.
And that they were really challenging.
Yes.
But out of that, you have started a couple of amazing businesses. Mm-hmm. One of them is Laugh Tech, which I have done. I have done a speaker series. That's why I'm here talking, because I did Laugh Tech, and so I now have the confidence to be on a video and to talk in public and to make mistakes and have my hair sticking out or whatever. So thank you for that. So I know that you have this third leg of your professional life, and it really is your passion and it's your heart. And I know that this grew out of your transition time. So I'd like for you to talk about that.
Yeah. So for the most part, I grew up with a lot of really cool financial information. My father was a banker, and I learned a lot about stuff early on. But somewhere in my life, I got off balance. I moved to California, I moved to Florida, I came back to Washington, I got married, and somewhere in all there, I got off balance, and I lost focus, and I didn't know what to do on all these different transitions, which I didn't even realize were transitions at the time. I just thought I was moving, living the dream, and all of a sudden one day you're like you call it the oh shit day, you wake up and you're like, oh no, what do I do? And that for me was after losing my husband, waking up realizing, oh my gosh, there's so much to do. And I had found myself in a trauma group with a bunch of other women who had gone through various types of abuse. And I didn't even know financial abuse was a thing, right? So I realized in that family and people in that story, I'm not going to name people, but there was a lot of bad behavior, and I didn't recognize it as abuse. I didn't know it was wrong. I just felt in my gut that this doesn't feel right, and I'm angry and I'm stuck and I don't like what I'm seeing, right? So all that pain, all that trauma, all that just ickiness that I felt in a new place. I wasn't living around people I knew. I was in a whole different culture, whole different location, and all of a sudden I'm like, things are not right. Right, so in my grief and I've worked with a lot of different coaches to help with that. Is I wanted to talk about financial abuse, but not in a negative way, because I'm Hallmark, right? My name is Hallmark. It's one of my sub-personalities. I love to be positive and cheerful and a source of encouragement, and so financial joy to me is the opposite of financial abuse, right? And most people don't even know what to call financial abuse. Most people are financially frustrated, or they might have financial chaos, or they might be financially just really stable. But I wanted to give a range to such a big, important piece of our life, because time and money are two of our most important assets. And it's like, why do we measure them differently? And that's how the book came about, is I'm really trying to connect the two, assets, essentially, so people can pay attention and not get caught in this, traumatic family event or in a really hard, confusing kind of battle of personalities even. And so I want to help people pull their head out of the sand and pay attention.
Well, there's another really great part of this book that I love, and I know it's an area that we connect in, and that's that you really like to bring creativity into this process. And that is a different way of looking at your financial information. So you use color first off, and it's not just red and black, like you're not in the red and you're not in the black. There's other colors like flower colors.
Like pink and purple and yellow and green.
So talk about that, about your focus as far as trying to bring more of a right brain focus into this.
Yeah, so someone said in business that if you're going to do well, you need to look at your books every month. And I was like, what do you mean my books, right? And then I realized it wasn't the books I read, it was my financial books, right? My QuickBooks account. And to look at, those numbers. And so I was like, well, this isn't very fun. And it's all just black and white, and there's not a lot of joy in that. And so I was thinking, how can I make this part of my business fun? How can I make it interesting for me as a creative, as someone who loves to paint and color and laugh and dance and take pictures? How can I make it fun so I would do it? So I had to trick myself to have fun with looking at my books, not making a book, but looking at my books. And I had to learn, what reports should I pay attention to? What reports meant what? And what is a net profit versus a, there's just so many different pieces. And so for me, if I can explain it to someone else, I now get it. And until I could explain it to somebody else, I didn't understand it fully. And I think a lot of people, it's like, well, if we want to learn something, learn how to teach it, number one. But the idea of the color is, how do you make it, for me now, it's morphed into what are my financial rituals each month, right? So for me, I pull out some highlighters and some colored pencils, and I look at key KPIs, my, key performance indicators, so I can see what's doing well.
Let's hear that word again. KPIs are key performance indicators.
Yes.
Those are really important for watching what's happening with your business.
Yes, super important. But if you don't know what they are, and it's not just what someone tells you they should be. Like, I wanted to really look at, like, what do I want to measure consistently each month? And then from that, how do I look at it in a visual and interesting way? So, and now I have fun with it. And I tell other people, well, join me, have fun, because whatever you've been set up with may not be serving you. And when I hear a business owner 4 or 5 years in the game, and she's like, well, I haven't looked at my P&L in 6 months. I'm like, but for her, that might be fine. But for me, I'm like, I want to know. And I want to empower people to know and to have fun with it and to ask questions, right? So part of financial joy is to socialize the conversation. It's okay to have moments of embarrassment. It's okay to be frustrated or worried. It's okay to be unsure, but it's not okay for us to not figure it out. And I want people to, if they have to use creativity to figure it out, great. Like, that's what worked for me. So if I can help other people, it's a win-win-win.
Well, I know that there's going to be some people out there that the minute we start talking about KPIs and financial information,
So exciting.
Their eyes are going to roll up in their head and they're going to go, But don't think of it that way. Think that you're getting this beautiful book, Financial Joy, and there's lots of places that you get to color in here, and on top of it, there are pictures of flowers. So,
Yes, tons of flowers.
but I do have a question. What the heck is this?
Yeah, so this is actually a 3D model of what I talk about in the book. I introduced 2 models in the book. One's the cash creator, which is more sales generation, and one is the cash flow circle, which is more what happened last month, the flow of money in and out. So this actually represents 30 days or 31 days. And when I talk about creating your wealth wreath or looking at your financial picture, petals on the outside represent money in, and the petals on the inside represent expenses.
So are you telling me that people are just drawing petals and leaves in order to keep track of their financial information?
Well, they still need their spreadsheet, they still need their bank account, you still need a CPA and a bookkeeper, but for me, whatever that bookkeeper sends me, I don't want to just look at it and be completely what's the right word? I don't want to be disconnected to it. I want to understand it. Because for me as a marketer and helping all my clients, I want them to know which activities they do during the month to make the blossom, right? And that's where there's a huge connection between what we do and what we can earn. But if we're not talking about it, right? If we're just looking at our sales activities over here and our financial results over here, if we don't look at them the same, we miss a lot of those learnings. And I want people to make connections quicker and not, I had one friend who, I helped her build a Facebook page and a website and a beautiful brand and logo, and 3 months in, it's like she didn't know how to sell. She didn't know how to close. So all the branding in the world didn't help. All the, getting 100 fans didn't help. She needed to know how to sell. And I didn't identify it sooner for her. And I regret that in a sense that sales has become a very important information for all my clients and because just being on Facebook is that's not enough, right? You have to have a system for the sales to manage those inquiries each month and to really, have enough appointments where you actually ask for something versus just getting to know us, which I feel as women, we can tend to just network our faces off. And I am a great networker. Like, if I could just go to happy hour, coffee days, lunch days, dinner, like, I would do that all the time. And that's actually one of the stories I write in the book, is I had one 3-month section where I didn't actually ask for any orders. I was just making friends and going kayaking and playing conferences and doing all this fun stuff that didn't actually return. And it's a really easy mistake that people can lose focus if they're not paying attention to the results.
Right.
So
do you see that there are women who in transition who are really needing this kind of information?
Yes. So for
how do you see those two really integrating and interacting with each other?
Yeah, so anytime someone's going through a divorce, there's going to be a huge change of financial information. For me and my story, I actually became a caregiver to my mother-in-law, and that was a big focus shift. So a lot of us, we become caregivers for our parents or sisters or neighbors, and all of a sudden we care.
Or our
kids. Like your daughter just had a new baby, and you get to help, and that can be a beautiful gift, but it also can be a distraction from the KPIs, right? So how do we balance both? And I just really want people to, whether they're in transition or they're just living a happy life. I don't like anytime I hear someone say, "Oh, my bookkeeper handles it all," or "my husband handles it." It's like, well, they can handle it, but you should still be aware, because what if he dies, right? So in my case, I was 31 and I lost my husband like that. I woke up one day, I didn't have him, right? I was all on my own. And we don't know when that's going to happen for our friends or our sisters or our clients. And people, I mean, freaking circle of life, it's real, right? And we can't ignore
it's
that.
Another circle, right?
But anytime there's any life event, and it could be a career change. I know a lot of career women go into self-employment in their 40s, 50s, or 60s. That's a whole different money game, because when you're employed, you get paid on the 1st and the 15th. But when you're self-employed, like, you network your face off, you do good, you help people, maybe you get paid over here, right? Like, depending on your sales cycle. But that conversation of, it's a new transition. I'm no longer getting a big check twice a month.
Right.
I have to actually go earn business and sell. And so those are big transitions.
Well, I think the point that you have that is so important is that, what is it that you call it when you put your head in the sand? Your ostrich. Being an ostrich is never a good answer when it comes to your financial world, because we don't know when that can change, and it can change overnight, and you're in a completely different world, and you're in transition. And a big part of that transition is the disorientation. And so when you're disoriented because your world has changed, your story has changed, you don't want to add on to that by having your financial world be very insecure because it's unknown. Yeah. So I really love that you have taken this really difficult transition time at a very young age, and you used it to create a lot of financial joy, a lot of laughter with Laugh Tech, a lot of Hallmark in the world.
More joy, more humor heals.
So how do people find your book? How do they find you?
Yeah, so you can visit dreamosity.com. It's DreamOsity, which is actually the word mash of dreams plus curiosity plus generosity. And this book really came from my curiosity. I was frustrated, and I was like, how do I make it fun? So dreamosity.com is a great place. Or Financial Joy actually has its own Facebook page if you want to follow us on Facebook there, or Laugh Tech on Facebook as well.
So they can find the book by contacting you.
Dreamosity.com.
Great.
You can find it on there.
Okay.
Yeah, please buy the book. and honestly, my challenge for people is to, whether you doodle the data or you just use a highlighter or something, is to create some sort of financial ritual monthly that makes you have fun to pay attention, right? Whether someone else is fully responsible, but maybe you want to just get an update. Where are the accounts at, right? Because sometimes, well, I don't want to go too far into it, but if we're not paying attention, it makes us an easier target. So by paying attention, you're actually protecting yourself and your family. And that's the message I want to get out there.
Great. Well, thank you, Marcelle
Yes,
Allen
thank you,
from
Karen.
Dreamosity and Financial Joy. And you can find her at dreamosity.com or on Facebook. And I'm Karen Herold from Wise Transition. You can call me, find me, at Karen at wisetransition.com, or go to my website, or I'm on Facebook. So I look forward to hearing from you.
And I just want to say, Karen has been pivotal in my journey of grief and joy, and it's just fascinating. So if you are in pain on any level and you're suffering and you're stuck, reach out to her, because she makes healing fun. It is not like talk therapy, boring schmorn. It is like, we get creative, we have fun, we do cool things.
And sometimes we cry, but it's all good.
But it's good crying in a safe and creative place. And we don't want people to suffer on any level. So if you're in a transition, reach out.
Oh, thank you so much. It's so nice to have you here today.
Thank you.